Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajanarandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Sri Sri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Nityalila Vishnu Vishnupada, His Divine Grace of the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON Samstapaka Acharya's Divine Grace of the Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Guri Vaishnavinda Ki. Jai Sri Rup Sanatana Patragana Sri Jeev Gopalabha Das Ragana Sadgosami Prabhu Ki. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana Ki. Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki. Sri Sri Krishna Baldav Dono Bhaiya Ki. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Jai Gaur Premanand. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. So we're reading this morning from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 3, I believe. Liberation from illusory energy. Text number 23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sarvato Manaso Sangam Ado Sangam Jasadusu Dayang Maitrim Prasayam Cha Uteshvu Ada Yatochitam Sarvato Manaso Sangam Ado Sangam Cha Sadhusu Dayam Maitrim Prasrayam Cha Bhuteshvada Yatochitam Sarvato Manaso Sangam Ado Sangam Cha Sadhusu Dayam Maitrim Prasrayam Cha Bhuteshvada Yatochitam Sarvato Manaso Sangam Ado Sangam Cha Sadhushu Dayam Maitrim Prasayam Cha Bhuteshvada Yatochitam. Ladies? Sarvataha, everywhere. Manasaha, of the mind. Asangam, detachment. Ado, in the beginning. Sangam, association. Cha, sadhushu, cha means and sadhushu, with saintly persons. Dayam, mercy. Maitrim, friendship. Prasayam, with saintly reverence. Cha, and Bhuteshu, for all living beings. Ada, thus. Yata, uchitam, as is suitable. Translation: a sincere disciple should learn to disassociate the mind from everything material and positively cultivate association with the spiritual master and other saintly devotees. He should be merciful to those in an inferior position to him, cultivate friendship with those on equal level, and meekly serve those in a higher spiritual position. Thus he should learn to deal properly with all living beings. The translation, please repeat. A sincere disciple should learn to disassociate the mind from everything material and positively cultivate association with the spiritual master and other saintly devotees. He should be merciful to those who, in inferior position to him, cultivate friendship with those on an equal level, and meekly serve those in a higher spiritual position. And thus he should learn to deal properly with all living beings. So purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhu. So this is a long purport. We'll say our Mangalacharana and make comments throughout. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Vidati Swaparandigam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhu vevacha patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So this is a very interesting verse. One should be merciful to those in inferior position, cultivate friendship with those on equal level, and serve those in higher spiritual position. This is the exact opposite of material existence. Material existence is someone is greater than us, then we criticize and envy them. If somebody's equal, we fight with them. And somebody's less than us, then we stomp on them. This is the material program. But here is saying opposite, that we should, that those who are less than us, we should try to help them become higher. Those are equal, we should make friendship with them. It's very important in Krishna consciousness to have friendship with devotees, just like we have this nectar of instruction that says revealing your mind in confidence. You'd have someone very close to you that you reveal your mind, and he reveals his mind. Very important to have friendship in Krishna consciousness. And those who are greater than us, then we should honor them and serve them. This is a spiritual process. So Srila Madhvacharya has quoted from the Garuda Purana to demonstrate that within this universe, those who take birth as demigods, great rishis, or pious human beings are all considered santaha, or saintly persons. According to Bhagavad Gita, Trigunya Vishaya Veda, the Varnashram culture described in Vedic literature deals mostly with the living entities who are struggling with the three modes of nature. The Vedic literatures teach such conditioned souls that material happiness can be achieved only through pious works. In this sense, the demigods are to be considered the most pious living entities within the three modes of material nature. The rishis, or great saintly mystics of the universe, who are able to travel at will to various planets and to cultivate mystic powers, are to be considered somewhat below the demigods. And those human beings on earth who perfectly execute the Vedic rituals are to be considered in the third or lowest category of santa, or saintly persons. But a devotee of the Lord is beyond the three modes of material nature. So mainly the living entities are struggling with these three modes of material: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So the Varnashram system is there to elevate us. And one is taught to perform, if one really wants to be happy, is to perform pious activities. So here it gives different grades. The demigods, of course, are the most pious. Those who are after mystic powers, they're little less pious. Those who are just worshiping with fruitive desires, they're the least. So just like we're given these 4 rules and regulations, this is just to bring us to the platform of being a civilized human being. There's nothing spiritual about these 4 things. And this just makes us a civilized human being. Just like we've heard, there's 8,400,000 species of all life, and 400,000 is human beings. And very few are civilized. But civilized means they're following these 4 things. No illicit sex life, no intoxication, no gambling, and what did I miss? No meat eating. So this is just to bring us to the platform of being a civilized human being. Spiritual life begins when we begin to chant the holy name. First of all, it begins when we accept the spiritual master. So here we're going to read more about this. So mainly the living entities are conditioned. We use this word, conditioned souls. So try to understand, just like nowadays the natural condition of the air is very hot. So we have a machine called an air conditioner. It conditions the air to be cool. Its natural position is hot, but it's conditioned to be cool. So our natural position is to want to love and serve Krishna. But these 3 modes of material nature conditioned us that we are thinking that the business of life is to get as much sense gratification as possible. This is the meaning condition. Natural position of the soul is to love Krishna. But now, by these 3 modes of material nature, we're conditioned. Some are in the mode of ignorance, some in the mode of passion, some in the mode of goodness. We're conditioned by these 3 modes of material nature. This is conditioned soul, in case you were wondering where this came from. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, what does he say? Mam chayo vabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So previously describes all these living entities who are conditioned, but one who engages in his natural position of devotional service, then he comes to the level of Brahman, spiritual level. Lord Krishna clearly says that a Vaishnava who does not fall down from the regulations of Bhakti Yoga is beyond the three modes of nature. And Lord Krishna advised Arjuna, a Krishna Bhakta, to transcend the three modes of nature, material qualities of the illusory creation of Maya. Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. But in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Na tadasti prativyam va divi deve suva punaha sattvam prakriti jair muktam yad ebi syat tribir guna. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems who is free from the three modes of material nature. Thus, the demigods are not exempt from the pollution of the three modes of material nature, whereas a pure devotee actually becomes gunatita, or transcendental to the influence of Maya. So the demigods, although they're the most highest, they're conditioned by the mode of goodness. They're the most pious living beings in the universe. But still, their desire is to enjoy. This is the whole beginning of material life. We decide that we'll enjoy on our own, separate from Krishna. Still, they're in this enjoying spirit. But at least they're enjoying piously. We see nowadays everybody's trying to enjoy in most impious ways. We can't even imagine. The rishis in Naimisharanya, they couldn't imagine what the situation would be in Kali Yuga. How degraded it's become. Prabhupada also was astonished when he came to the West and saw the situation. He says in his prayers, I do not know how they'll understand the message. You, dear Krishna, you're the most expert mystic. You can make my words appropriate. Somehow, although we were the most degraded type of people, somehow Prabhupada's words touched us. Because we saw that all our authorities in our life, they were all telling us, don't smoke, don't drink. And what are they doing? Our parents, our teachers, our professors, everyone, all our authorities, they're all smoking and drinking, but they're telling us don't do it. So what will we do? We'll do what they say or we'll do what they do. I can remember I had a neighbor, and one time he came home and his little 5-year-old son was lying in bed watching the TV and drinking beer and smoking cigarettes. So immediately his parents said, what are you doing? He said, I'm being a daddy. So this is a degraded position of Kali Yuga. But a devotee who follows carefully the instructions of the spiritual master, he rises above these three modes. Devotional service is not an activity of this material world. Actually, devotional service is so perfect that it is both the means and the end. The means is to serve Krishna, the end is to serve him even more. Just like every day, if you go in the afternoon in the Balaram Hall, you see all the ladies there stringing the garlands for Krishna, Balaram, and Radhasham, Sundar, and Gaura-Nitai. So very soon they'll all be in the spiritual world. What would they be doing is making garlands for Krishna, Balaram, Gaura-Nitai, and Radhasham, Sundar. The means and the ends is the same. So as soon as you begin devotional service, you begin to transcend the modes of material nature, come to the spiritual platform. Therefore, one should cultivate the association of the Uttama Adhikari, or pure devotee of the Lord, as stated previously, Tasmad Gurum Prabhadyeta Jigasu Sreya Uttamam Shabde Pare Chanisnatam Brahmya Upasan Asrayam. Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide guru is that he had realized the conclusion of the scriptures by deliberation and able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Personality Godhead leave aside all material considerations and should be considered to be bona fide spiritual masters. It's like Prabhupada always, especially to the reporters, he complained, this society now is the cheaters and the cheated. It's like sometimes they told Prabhupada, because of these 4 rules and regulations, you won't get so many followers. And Prabhupada said, yes, when you're selling diamonds, not everybody will be able to buy. But if you want diamond, then you have to pay the price. If you want piece of glass, then you get it very cheaply. So nowadays it's become fashion. You take this mantra, you do whatever you like, you just chant my mantra, just give me some dakshina. I've seen so many people, as soon as the big program is over, then they're just waiting to see how much money going to come on. Everybody's coming and putting money on their feet. How much money coming? But bona fide spiritual master, here Prabhupada says, he gives up all material considerations. Prabhupada didn't come to America to become rich or to become famous. He came to give us pure Krishna consciousness. And he didn't adulterate it. He said, no, you do all your nonsense and just chant Hare Krishna. No. You have to, a little bit like we were hearing the other day, we have to do a little bit of tyag. Ordinarily, tyag is not very conducive. Just like in that beautiful prayer Raghunath Das Goswami gives for Sanatana Goswami. What is that? Vairaga Yuga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnaya Payam Mam Anabipsamandam Pripamriya Paraduka Duki Sanatanantam Prabhu Ashrayami. Vairaga Yuga, that vairagya that is mixed with devotion. Not this dry vairagya, but vairagya bhakti rasam. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has described ras means a very tasty thing. So you can almost taste it. Vairagya yuga bhakti rasam. It's a very tasty thing. Just like if you live in the society of sadhus, they have their own language. Just like we say, pass the salt please. They say, Ram Ras. And they want some salt and they say, Ram Ras. They want sweet rice, then Paramana. The supreme grain, Paramana. Or chaval is, rice is Mahaprasad. They have their own ways of talking. So, Ram Ras, you give Ram Ras. Everything becomes with a little bit of salt, just like sometimes now we have God brothers and God sisters, the doctors tell them, no more salt, I will die first. Because nothing comes, without salt, nothing is tasty. So, Vairagya Yuga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnera Payamam and Abipsamandam. Andam means I was in the darkness of ignorance. I didn't want it. But Prayatnaya means by force. The Sanatana Goswami forced me to take this. Vairagya Yuga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnaya. By force he made me drink this delicious ras of bhakti. Mixed with a little tiny bit of vairagya. At least we have to give up sinful life. That much we have to tyag, we have to have. Payamam anabipsamadam. Kripambudir. Budi means ocean. He's ocean of kripa. Paradukaduki. His only unhappiness is to see others unhappy. We've been hearing all week everybody telling about the material, that if somebody's unhappy, then we're very happy. And if someone's happy, then we're, he's a useless rascal. Why is he so getting such facilities? But Paraduka Duki, the Vaishnava, he knows everyone in this world is looking for happiness. He knows that. And he knows the process, how to become happy. He's just unhappy to see everyone following this chasing after sense gratification, and it only ends up in pain. Like Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita, that happiness that's like nectar in the beginning turns into poison in the end. It takes us a long time to figure that out. We're just like children, the mother's, she's ironing, and she's got this thing that's, very shiny, and it's reflecting all the colors of the room, and steam is coming out. So the little kid comes, and he wants to touch this thing, and mother says, hot burn. No? Mother's hot burn. And as soon as she's distracted, immediately goes and touches. Eventually he makes a connection. When mother says hot burn, then I'll get that horrible sensation. Just like she's cooking on the stove and there's this beautiful flower there. So we want to go and touch it. And mother says hot burn. Eventually we make the connection. Hot burn means that if I touch it, that horrible sensation will come. In the same way, spiritual masters tell us, give up sense gratification, a hot burn. And we're still convinced. Just like one time in the old Berkeley temple, it was a feast day, somebody's appearance day or something. So we had a half-day fast. Half-day fast, that was unheard of for us. We didn't know will we survive. So finally, the half-day fast was there. Then we all ran to Raj Bogartik and we were chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. And we ran to the prasad room. We sat down, and this is old days. So the cooks, they had made this beautiful chocolate cake with creamy chocolate icing on it. Everybody's secret was going, boop. They couldn't wait for the prayer to be over. As soon as it was over, everyone went for that cake and took a bite. But the neophyte cooks, they put salt instead of sugar. Some people thought, well, maybe from fasting my taste buds went off. They took another bite. No, it's still like that. Some even took a third bite. So spiritual master is telling us this sense gratification will end in pain. And we never learn. We have to keep, now that now I'm a little bit Krishna conscious, I can enjoy and and then somehow or other it always ends up pain. Like that. On the other hand, so one should associate with devotees so that he can get some taste for spiritual life. On the other hand, one should avoid association of a materialistic person, even if such a person is outwardly chanting the holy names of Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami has advised in this respect, Krishneta yasya giritam panasyadriyeta dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantam isham sushrusaya bhajana vigyam ananyam anya nindadi sunya ridam ipsita sangalabhya. One may mentally offer respect to any living entity who is chanting the holy name of Krishna. But one should avoid intimate association with materialistic persons, especially those attached to sex enjoyment. Tamodwaram yoshita sangha sangam. If one associates with a sensuous person who is attached to the company of women, by such association one will surely go to hell. But if a materialistic person approaches a pure devotee with a sincere desire to hear from him about spiritual improvement, the first-class devotee may mercifully give him his association, provided the purpose of such a meeting is advancement in devotional service of Krishna. By such association, even a materialistic person can gradually become a pure devotee of Krishna. If an advanced devotee is not able to engage a materialistic person in devotional service of Krishna, such association is strictly forbidden. So they asked Mahaprabhu the quality of a devotee. He said, satsanga tyag, giving up the association asat, those who are chasing after Maya. They're just will gradually lead us down and down. So we should associate with devotees, and we should avoid the association of non-devotees. We may offer respects, even if someone's chanting, but we see that he doesn't follow properly. We offer respect within our mind, but we do not intimately associate. We want to intimately associate with those who are serious about advancing in Krishna consciousness. Because bhakti is only available from the devotee. Just like I translated Madhurya Kadambini, and there Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Bhaktya Sanjataya Bhaktya. Bhakti comes from bhakti. And he explains that it's only available from the bhakt, because bhakti lives in the heart of the bhakt. He said even Krishna himself doesn't give. Because if Krishna was the giver of bhakti, then we'll have to criticize him. He's giving to some, he's not giving to other. Just like you've all come here on this rainy morning to hear some nonsense from my mouth about Krishna. So, because you have bhakti. And there was one character in England, Stephen Hawking, he wrote so many books that this Bhagwan is a nonsense thing. No bhakti. So Krishna is giving to some and he's not giving to others. We'll have to criticize. But we know Krishna says, Samaham Sarvabhuta, I'm equal to everyone. So Vishwanath Chakravarti explains bhakti is only available from the devotee. But because the devotee, Krishna loves to serve his devotee. If a devotee gives mercy to someone, then Krishna comes behind and gives his mercy to that person. So we want to get a mercy from the devotees. Because only they can give us bhakti. Even Krishna won't give. What does that? Sma bhakti yoga. Mukti dadati karaja. Maybe he'll give mukti very easily. But bhakti yoga, sma bhakti yoga, sma means not. He won't give so easily. Where we leave off? Okay. In the Garuda Purana it is stated, Visheshatas Svotameshu Vina Sangam Chamuchate Swanichesu Tu Deveshu Vina Sangam Chapuryate. One cannot be liberated without the association with the pure devotee of the Lord. And unless one shows mercy to those in inferior position, one's life will be superficial. It is our practical experience in the Krishna consciousness movement that those who are expanding their mercy by preaching the message of Krishna are making rapid spiritual progress, and their life is filled with transcendental bliss. Those who neglect the quality of mercy, being uninterested in the missionary activities of the Krishna consciousness movement, are not filled with transcendental pleasure as described here by the word puryate. Not being filled with spiritual pleasure, surely such persons attempt to fill their lives with material pleasure through sense gratification and mental speculation, associating with women, or reading innumerable mundane novels, newspapers, news magazines, and so on. According to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the preaching activities of the Krishna conscious movement are namdam buddhi vardhanam, the ever-increasing ocean of bliss. Missionary activities are based on the principle of dayam, or mercy to those who were fallen. Those who are actually preaching become enlivened by associating with other preachers. This principle is called maitrim, or friendship among equals. The power to carry out such preaching activities, as well as the proper guidance for distributing Krishna's message, comes through the principle of prasayam. That was in the verse, this word prasayam, or humble service to the lotus feet of spiritual authorities, such as the spiritual master. If one preaches Krishna consciousness sincerely under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master and in the company of fellow preachers, one is perfectly fulfilling the statement of this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, and thus he will come to the point of sarvato manaso sangam, or complete detachment from the illusory energy of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has stated, Lavamatra sadhu sangha sarvasiddhi. By becoming attached to the devotees of the Lord, one will achieve all perfection of life, going back to home, back to Godhead. So over and over, this whole purport, they're stressing, following Srila Prabhupada, that if we really want to get the bliss, then we have to spread Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a thing that the more you give it away, the more you get. It's a very special thing. Everything else, we win a whole bunch of money, we try to give it away to everyone, then eventually it becomes zero. But Krishna consciousness is such that the more you give it away, the more you get. So this is the so prashayam, one should humbly serve the spiritual authorities. If one neglects the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by engaging in sinful life, he is certainly not merciful. One who ignores his eternal status as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and who instead covers himself more and more with material illusions in the form of temporary designations, I'm American, I'm Russian, I'm Indian, I'm black, I'm white, and so on, is certainly a killer of his own soul and cannot be considered merciful. Similarly, those who support animal slaughter by eating meat, fish, and eggs cannot be considered merciful. Sometimes the argument is given that if one does not harm others, he is perfectly religious. But because we are now in a state of ignorance, we have no idea whatsoever of the future reactions to our present activities. Ignorantly boasting that one is not harming others with an awareness of the subtle laws of, without awareness of the subtle laws of nature, one does not make does not make one a religious person. As I remember one walk in Bombay, one lady was just pushing Prabhupada all the way, that you have to do this charitable work, you have to do this charitable work, charitable work. And we finally got back to the temple. Prabhupada said, when you have a boil, what do? You blow on it. You get some relief, but you don't get relief, really. You have to take a lance and lance it and squeeze out, as painful it is, you squeeze out all the pus inside, all the impurities. So this charitable work is just, you help people to become healthy so they can go back out and do sinful life. This is a so-called charity. They become healthy, now they can go do sinful activities. Just like one time there was one organization from Lucknow, they gave out, they did eye operations for people. So they always invited us to help out. So I say, yes, we'll come and we'll distribute back to Godheads. So that once they have their eyes, they can, instead of, go to the cinema and seeing Sri Devi and whoever else is there, they'll see, Sri Krishna and the Cowherd Boys and Srila Prabhupada. So we always used to go to their eye camps and we would pass out back to Godheads to everyone. That was our service. Because you just get people, cure people's blindness, then you have to tell them what they should look at. Now they have the facility, now they can see again, so now they should see Krishna, not this other nonsense things. So this is just like materials, welfare works like blowing on a boil. You get some relief, but you have to lance it. One should cultivate association with those who are more advanced than oneself in devotional service. One's advancement can be measured by our detachment from sense gratification and his ability to distribute Krishna consciousness to others. In this connection, Srila Narottam Das Thakur has said, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payeche Keba. Who can attain salvation if he gives up the service of the Vaishnavas? By serving the lotus feet of pure devotees, one is immediately enlightened with spiritual knowledge. All of the so-called pleasures of the material world, culminating in many varieties of sexual fantasy and impersonal visions of oneself as God, become useless to one who has achieved the mercy of the lotus feet of pure devotee of Krishna. The entire material creation is compared to an insignificant bubble in the ocean. The material universe rests on the spiritual potency of the Lord, called Brahmajyoti, just as an insignificant bubble rests on the potency of the limited ocean. By serving the lotus feet of a pure devotee, one can enter the ocean of eternal happiness and experience his constitutional position as a servant of Krishna. The mercy of the Vaishnava is unlimited, and one who has tasted that mercy becomes mad after the lotus feet of Krishna, not caring for the hallucinations of so-called material pleasure or mental speculation. The mercy of the Vaishnavas is substantial and as powerful as Krishna himself, whereas impersonal speculations and hopeless dreams of society, friendship, and love merely constitute various means by which Maya cheats the conditioned soul and keeps them in perpetual frustration. The Prabhupada said the last snare of Maya is, I'm God, you're God, we're all God. This was our theme when we first came in contact with Krishna God. We were in this boat. I'm God, you're God. We always used to take some type of intoxication, and in the end we would say, I'm God, I'm God. How did I miss it all this time? Look at all these foolish people, they don't know. The next morning, I had it all figured out last night. What happened? They're just fantasies. That I'm God, you're God, we're all God, do whatever you like. Prabhupada smashed all of these. Like I said, that's why we followed Prabhupada, because what he said, he followed. He told us to follow these rules, he himself was following. So we, as I said in the beginning, we used to, all our authorities were telling us don't smoke and don't drink. They're all smoking and drinking, but we saw Prabhupada was telling us to serve Krishna, and he himself was serving Krishna. To follow these 4 regulations, he himself was following. So we got some faith and we began to follow. And somehow, as Prabhupada says here, the mercy of the Vaishnavas is unlimited. Prabhupada took these, we were such type of people that we crashed Yamaraja's hard drive. But somehow Prabhupada took these people and made them into Vaishnavas somehow or another by his strong preaching, and sent them all over the world, and now all over the world Krishna consciousness is going on. Just like in the old days, they used to say the sun never sets on the British Empire. But that finished just a little island off the coast of Europe. But now the sun never sets on the chanting of Hare Krishna. Just like we were just having Darshan Artik here, then in a little bit later in Europe they'll start having Darshan Artik, and then in Bhaktivedanta Manor they'll have Darshan Artik. Then in a little while New York Temple will wake up, have Mangal Artik, and then to California, to the other side of the United States, and then Hawaii, then Tokyo, then China, then again back here. Like this, the sun never sets on the chanting of Hare Krishna by Srila Prabhupada's wonderful mercy. So, this part of Srimad Bhagavatam, very philosophical, long purports, but I hope I've given some food for thought for all of you, and hope you can advance more and more in Krishna consciousness. We see Prabhupada always used to end all of his letters, I'm always praying to Krishna, that the young boys, we used to be young boys, the young boys and girls advance in Krishna consciousness. So somehow by Prabhupada's good wishes, we've become, trying to become devotees. And so this is the secret. One has to associate with the spiritual, with the pure devotee, find out one who's actually giving real knowledge through Guru Parampara. Parampara, param. That's what parampara, param. That Krishna gave to Arjuna like this, it goes down and down and down. Parampara. Just like towards the end of Bhagavatam, describes that there's a verse that describes that all the great souls in the past, they've taken shelter of the boat of the lotus feet of Krishna and crossed over this ocean of material existence. So that means that boat has already gone to the other side. So what's happening? What about us? So no, that boat is still here. It's in the form of Guru Parampara. And that boat is so powerful, if you come near to that boat, then the whole ocean of material existence becomes like a hoof print of a calf, and you won't step over. So the boat never leaves this side. It's always here. Don't worry. You go near to that boat, then you can step across this whole material existence like it's a puddle in the water in the hoof print of a calf. So Prabhupada made this wonderful program where we're taking advantage every day, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam gradually. Slowly, our hearts are becoming a little purified. So maybe anybody has any questions? Or?
Yes. I have a question from the paragraph. The first paragraph, Srila Prabhupada was telling three kinds of pious beings. The first one are demigods, and the saintly great rishis are below the demigods. So,
well, he qualifies that, those who are after mystic powers. Just like Prabhupada always used to quote that verse. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakaleya santa. Krishna bhakta niskama ataiva shanta. Bhukti, those who are after material enjoyment. Mukti, those who are after mukti. Siddhi, those who are after yogic siddhis. Sakale asanta. They're all unpeaceful. But Krishna bhakta niskama ataiva shanta. I think Prabhupada told this verse at my initiation.
the question is why demigods are like...
Because they've performed so many pious activities, now they're gotten this very high position as demigods.
So are the saintly rishis below the demigods?
Those saintly rishis who are preaching Krishna consciousness, they're above even the demigod. That Prabhupada made it clear that those are under the those three are under the material modes of nature. Those who are after mystic cities, they're still this desire for mystic perfections, to become bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest, to be. Just like we had one, when I was president, there was one DM, what was his name? Hari Krishna Paliwal. Nice name. He told me he went to South India, he met one of these so-called incarnations of God. They're now all over the world, because in India, labor is cheap, so they have this mystic yogic factory where they manufacture incarnations of God and export them all over the world. So I went to visit the so-called incarnation of God, and then he sat in meditation. I could see that he had gone somewhere, and he came back and handed me a flower. He told me that there's a rishi in Siddhaloka. He was worshipping his deity, and I have brought this flower. So I immediately understand he's bogus fellow. Why he had to steal from some poor rishi? If he's God, he'll create his own flower. Why he's got to steal from some poor rishi who's doing his puja and the flower disappeared. So bhukti, mukti, siddhi kami, those who are, the demigods, they still have this enjoying spirit. So they're under the modes of nature, the mystic yogis. And those who are just after pious activities. Really, I remember one devotee became a devotee in Houston when we were there in Houston temple, and he was part of some organization that used to go and try to do charitable works. And so one of them, they would go to these islands in the, way out in the South Pacific somewhere, little tribal people there. And they would try to, they were distributing smallpox vaccination. Smallpox vaccination means they put a little bit of the virus and you get a little pock. Now, you're not supposed to scratch that pock because then it'll spread and spread and spread. You have to tolerate it somehow. Now, how are you going to tell these little children? They're living on these little tribals, they're playing in pig stool and making, play all day long to not get this thing dirty and no matter how much it itches, don't scratch it. So they were all scratching and their whole arms swelled up, the whole body swelled up. All the children died like this. It was a big disaster. Material welfare is always a big disaster. So he became a devotee when he understood that this is the real charitable work, to give people Krishna consciousness so they don't come back and get all these smallpox and all these cancer and all these diseases. This is the real charity work. Yes?
Hi Krishna, thank you very much for your class. You were mentioning how bhakti is given by the devotee and Krishna follows behind. So I heard a lecture that Prabhu was explaining in his class that if the devotee is kanista adhikari, the bhakti that is given by him is not too strong. According to the position of the bhakti is being given. So my question is this: Bhakti Devi is a person. So can you speak more about Bhakti Devi? Because sometimes we get confused who Bhakti Devi is and how she works.
Very simple. Bhakti is devotion to Krishna. So she's that personality who gives us devotion to Krishna.
She belongs to Srimati Radharani's entourage.
Everything, everyone is expansion from either Krishna or Radharani. So. I don't know what else to say. She's the personality of Bhakti. And she even, I can't remember which Puran, it describes how she brought her children to Narad Muni and they were suffering like anything. And finally, Narad, the four Kumaras finally told him, you speak Srimad Bhagavatam, and then they became lively. This dry Vairagya, and those two sons were Vairagya and Jnana and Vairagya.
We were in the San Diego temple, and His Holiness Bhakti Sundar Maharaj was giving a lecture. So when we pay obeisance to Tulsi, we say Brinda Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. So and then he said there is some information to share. Bhakti Devi is not the same as Brinda Devi.
No.
So I think he's playing a little bit, not too much.
Tulsi Maharani is very powerful for giving us Krishna Bhakti. She's a devotee. But Bhakti Devi is one thing and Tulsi Devi is another. But just like we say Ganga Jamuna Ki Jai. So Ganga Jamuna, same river? So just out of, making things short, we say Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Not that they're the same person, just like we say Ganga Devi Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. So not that they're both the same river.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Thank you so much for such wonderful lecture. Guruji, it is said here that we should have a friendship with equals. Sometimes when we have friendship with equals, we end up finding some faults within them, and sometimes we can clarify such faults with a very so-called practical ways. Like Like it's just that we are stuck in the faith, we are not finding the faults. So how can we overcome from that and we have a good quality amount of friendship with people?
That takes a lot of practice. This is the thing, we're in the internet age. We just want to click on the link and bing, detachment, bing, lust goes out from our heart, bing. You have to practice. You have to do the work. There's no link. I'll click on this link and automatically I'll stop fault finding. We have to practice. Practice trying to see the good in devotees. Like Bhaktisiddhanta, when two devotees would have some disagreement, he'd bring them together. He'd say something nice about him. Now you say something nice about him. Now again, you say something like that. He would solve the whole problem like that. So it takes a little practice. It's hard because we love to find fault. But the only reason that we're finding faults is so that we don't have to see our own. I'm so busy finding other people's faults. I should be so busy finding my own faults that I don't have time to find anybody else's fault. If I see my own faults, then I won't have time to go looking faults with others. Like Jayananda, he was perfect. As soon as anybody said anything bad about a devotee, he was out of there. So we have to practice. It takes.
Thanks for very beautiful class. One question is like, normally all the shastras and everything we hear, and it's very difficult for us to remember and digest. Very difficult to remember, like all the rules and regulations and other things. If chanting 16 rounds and following 4 regulatory principles enough for one person to cross over the mental?
I was sitting in LA and Prabhupada said, if you just chant 16 rounds, follow these 4 regular principles, you will go back to home, back to Godhead. That's exactly what every boy. And Prabhupada looked around, he said, I guarantee it. And all the boys went Jai, and second time Prabhupada said, I guarantee it. One time in the old temple in Melbourne, not the temple they have now, they had a very tall Vyasasan. Prabhupada had to walk many steps up and sit down, and he gave class. And it was one of those classes, if you have pinch of material desire, you will not go back to home, back to Godhead. So all the devotees went. So at the end of the class, Prabhupada looked around, he saw every devotee's face was hopeless. So Prabhupada, he said, even if you're 90% Krishna conscious, you'll go back to home, back to Godhead. All the devotees went Jai. Prabhupada took one step down. He said, even 80%, you'll go back to home, back to Godhead. He took another step down. He said, even 75%, but no less. So the process is guaranteed, and we're getting 25% discount. So if there's no other questions, we can fall down to the very soft and wonderful lotus feet of that great personality who's engaged us in this wonderful process of devotional service. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.